Today we'll be checking back in with Terra's Luna coin, performing some technical analysis and making some predictions on where we can expect to see Luna go in the next few weeks. Let's get into it. How's it going, guys? Ryan here and welcome back to another crypto video, and today, as I mentioned, we're checking back in with Luna coin. Unfortunately, it seems like my prediction from last week did not come to fruition, but today we're going to review exactly what happened and look at various indicators in order to make some decisions on where we can expect to see the price of Luna go in the near future. But before we get into all that good stuff, guys, please remember to leave a thumbs up if you do enjoy today's video, and if you want to see more of this sort of content, hit subscribe and turn on those bell notifications. We cover crypto, stocks, investing, and wealth management. Of course, I'd love to know your thoughts on Luna down in the comments section below. But without any further ado, let's jump straight into today's analysis. Welcome into the Luna Shark, guys. If you want to buy some Luna or just want some free Bitcoin, there are a couple of links down in the description of today's video. But as you can see, the last time we checked in on Luna was on the 8th of October here. We had a high on that day of $48.59, but unfortunately now we are down, sitting at about $36.35. Now, whilst this isn't a major drop, it does seem like our lines that we had in place for our support have failed, and that's why we saw these big red candles. So as you can see here, this line we had in place before was our parallel line for our upwards channel that we basically had been trending in for a period of the past few weeks. But unfortunately, what we saw right here on the 9th of October was a failure of this channel, which resulted in this dip which has occurred. Now, the first thing to point out is this is not a dump. If you look at the volume on these days, you can see that whilst yes, they are red, they are not showing large volumes, which indicates there is no dumping occurring. As opposed to a day like here on the 10th of September, you can see big volume and a big green day, which indicates large amounts of buying, versus, a big red day here, big drop, large volume, indicating that it is a bit of a dump. This is a completely different scenario, so we're not sort of in a extremely bad position here. Now, first thing I'm going to do is eliminate this channel. It is now no longer any use to us, so let's get rid of those few lines. We really need to re-baseline exactly where we are sitting now, and obviously there's not really much pricing data we can go on from over here. We're just going to have to use recent history in order to help us out a bit with this one. So what am I looking at firstly? Well, let's look for our key points of horizontal support. So as we just, I suppose, start to look across, we've got to identify exactly where that support is. So I'm just going to put a line in place and drag that one upwards. And the easiest way to do this is see where is all the major points of price action occurring. So as we move this up, you can see as we move closer and closer towards the price, this area right here is probably quite an interesting space, the $36 mark. And you'd see as we, I suppose, move along, plenty of price action has occurred in recent history here, and it has been a point of resistance in the past. So for me, given that we're bouncing off this point, not once, not twice, but 3 times almost, that indicates to me it is a key point of support, and we are starting to, bounce off that point. So I reckon that is seriously what needs to hold up now. Just for reference, if we unfortunately did break through that support point, we would then be dropping, and we probably drop to about this area here. You can see plenty of price action has occurred in the past across this point as well, which is sitting roughly at $31. So key point of support at $36 or $35.08, and key point of support at roughly $31 as well. So hold the $35 and the $31 marks. They are absolutely crucial. Resistance now. Where is our key points of resistance? Well, let's just start going up and see exactly where that could be. I think probably around here at $38 is a good point for short-term resistance. We see plenty of price action occurring at these points, and I think just given the sheer volatility of the chart over the past month or two, it's really hard to put in place real clear and hard points of support or resistance. So you've got to use price action in order to help make decisions for you. I think given that we've seen, a big drop from that perspective, I'd say potentially $38, or even just because $40 is a psychological number, I might move that up to there. You can see this is touched on multiple occasions across the board. That's probably really the target of where we want to go to. Now, the beautiful thing about this chart is you can see that we're sloping downwards, but now things are starting to go in a horizontal manner. So that means they're evening out a bit. The selling pressure is dying off, and we should start to see a transition in the trend. This is prime consolidation going on right now. And what's really interesting is the sheer amount of dojis that we are seeing from a candle perspective, indicating that the price has hit a point of indecision. Whilst yes, it is going down in, a short-term downtrend, it's indecisive now. It wants to change direction. So really good candle pattern to have a look at there. The big doji here, another doji here. What we're seeing probably up here could be, an upside down hammer almost. So that really shows that it's looking to reverse in the near term. Bit of green today, but we need to see the volume start coming back in to keep moving. So let's bring in a few more indicators, and the prime ones obviously that we want to bring in are our 20-day for short term, 50-day for long term, and of course our 200-day for very, very long term. I suppose 50 days more medium term in this sort of circumstance. And the first thing that you're going to notice is that our 50-day is at a key point now. At 50-day is now acting as basically a point of support for us. You can see that the price action is almost bouncing off this point consecutively at this point in time. It's holding up the price. Not only that, we obviously have our horizontal resistance point, or support point, here now as well. Unfortunately, as we did see, the price has dropped underneath the 20-day moving average, which means possibly if the price doesn't recover, we could see this 20-day moving average come down and unfortunately cross in that sort of a manner below the 50-day moving average. So just for those listening along for reference, the 20-day moving average is at 39.83 and the 50 days at 36.40. And obviously 200-day, not even a contender at the moment, 18.57. That will continue to climb as the price for a few months now has been significantly higher than that point. So overall, that's looking relatively okay. But this 50-day is acting as major support. So keep that in the back of your mind. Let's bring out the MACD now as well. Have a look what's going on there. It looks like potentially we have peaked from this sort of red region we are seeing here. Peaked up about on the 16th of October, and then we started to deteriorate, which is good. We want to see a move back towards these sort of green shapes. Now on here, about probably the 9th, 10th of October, we saw the 12-day EMA cross below the 26-day EMA, and if you've watched many of my other videos for cryptos, this is a very reliable indicator to indicate the short-term price direction. Every time we see a cross on the EMAs, you're going to see a big increase in the value of a coin or a big decrease in the value of a coin. So as soon as that happened, we saw that big red day, we're starting to go down, that sort of thing. A number of factors failed from an indicator point of view, meaning the traders were getting out ASAP. So that really explains the overall price action, but it's great to see, as I say before, not many dumps occurring. And what you're going to see as well probably is the RSI is reflecting the exact same thing. It hasn't gone up or down really too much at all. It's currently sitting at 46.61. The last time we saw it, it was at 55.70. Not much change. In fact, we're in the more sold side of things now, but we're sitting pretty much smack bang in the middle. So if we did start to see a big altcoin pump start and Luna starts following it as well, there is plenty of room for us to move upwards. And you notice over the long term, since probably the 18th of August, from an RSI perspective, we've been cooling off this entire time. So I would not be surprised if we were in for a bit of an increase in buying action in the near future. Overall though, looking relatively safe. My price target is to crack back through this $40 US mark and once again go test our all-time highs sitting up here at $49.53. We want to crack that $50 mark, but $40 in the short term, and we really need to make sure we hold this key point of resistance here at $35 for us. Otherwise, unfortunately, we'll be dipping down to the $31 mark. But keep that in the back of your mind when you're watching this chart this week. That wraps up my Luna analysis for today. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Do you think we're going to be able to hit and test that $40 mark or potentially break through it within the next week or two? Or are we breaking our support point or even potentially going sideways? Let me know down in the comments section below. And of course, if you did enjoy today's video, please remember to leave a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of this sort of content, hit subscribe and turn on those bell notifications. We cover crypto, stocks, investing, and wealth management. But I'm going to leave it there for today, guys. I hope you have an awesome day. I'll see you next time. Cheers.